Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where every single Friday I, Graham G.S. Matthews, give my rambling thoughts on the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. And as of today, we are only 3 days removed from my experience at WWE Boston at SmackDown this past Tuesday night. Great time. So today's video blog will be dedicated to talking about my experience at the show from this past Tuesday. If you have yet to watch SmackDown from last night as it aired on the USA Network, I would please tune away now, tune out now. This will feature spoilers from SmackDown, but like I said, by the time this is going up, it will have already aired, so I'm not really spoiling much anyway. Hopefully you would have seen the show by now. But anyway, SmackDown at the TD Garden in Boston. My first experience at SmackDown in almost 7 years, which is amazing. The SmackDown show that I went to back in November of 2009, Dunkin' Donuts Center, Providence, Rhode Island. I've talked about it here on the video blog before, about a year or two ago, whatever. Was my first ever WWE live show, which was amazing. And so I was very happy to be back for SmackDown this past week. We were supposed to go to SmackDown, me and my roommate, last January, in January of 2015, but because of the fucking huge snowstorm that we got, it got canceled, and I had tickets to a live event instead, which I didn't go to, and The Rock showed up, and I talked about that here in the video blog last summer. But yeah, my first time at SmackDown in almost 7 years, and I was so glad I went, and no better place to go right now other than NXT than SmackDown. It's the hot ticket for WWE. SmackDown has been on the rise for the last couple of months, and I knew that I figured a couple of months ago, and it's funny too, they announced SmackDown as going to the Garden back at TLC when we went to that show, which was also an amazing event. And I figured, I'm going to go anyway, but I figured, SmackDown's not going to mean as much after like the first month or two that it's on the network, or rather on USA Network. And I'm so happy to have been proven wrong. SmackDown has been consistently entertaining by and large for the last couple of months since it moved to USA. And that was definitely the case this past Tuesday or Thursday, whatever, when I went on Tuesday, when it aired on Thursday. That SmackDown can sometimes be better than Raw, which wasn't the case a year or two ago. It is now, though, and it definitely was the case this past week. So we got the tickets right after TLC, right around Christmas time. I bought them almost immediately. I had to go to SmackDown. Me, my friend, and of course RJ. I've talked about him here on the video blog before. My brother RJ, co-host of Wrestle Rant Radio. We were en route to Boston on Tuesday. We were going to catch a train around 6 o'clock, but I lost the ticket, actually. Funny story. I printed out the tickets right after I bought them, which is something I always do. And I kept them with me. I didn't lose them then. I kept them in a special place. And then by Tuesday afternoon, I put them in the back of my pocket because I figured I would go to dinner and I would leave from there. And as I was leaving dinner, I checked my back pocket to make sure I had all my shit with me, and I didn't have the tickets, and I still have no idea where they are. And thankfully, they were printable tickets, so I went back to my room, printed out another couple copies, and we were on our way to the train station, which we missed by like literally 15 seconds. So had I not forgotten the tickets, that wouldn't have happened. But it actually worked out for the better. We got there around 6:45, right before they started the main event tapings, around 7 o'clock p.m., and got some food, got some merch, as they always do. Picked up a Brock Lesnar Suplex City, Boston, Massachusetts customized t-shirt. And I already have one of these t-shirts for New York, but it's a different color, different back too, so a great t-shirt. And I've been talking about the Beast in Boston for a while, so I figured it'd only be fitting if I got a Brock Lesnar t-shirt, so that was pretty awesome. But anyway, so we sat down for the main event tapings. They had a dark match between Damian Sandow and Fandango. Over within like a minute or so, I think Sandow won. So it was cool to see Sandow. He's never on TV nowadays, so I marked out when I saw him. The crowd liked him. Match was nothing. We had the main event tapings after that. Kicking off the show was Zack Ryder versus Stardust, which was a good match. Zack Ryder was beloved by the crowd by and large. Loved doing the woo woo woo. So he picked up the victory there. And again, this is also, as you couldn't tell, feature main event spoilers for this week too. So if you want to watch the show, or you plan on watching the show, tune out now or skip ahead, 5 minutes or so. So after that, we had Paige versus Naomi, again a good match, and one of my biggest markout moments of the night, no shit, is when Emma's music hits. Someone who hasn't been seen in the main roster in almost a year or two, she comes out, helps out Team Naomi, Team Lana, whoever, whatever, because she was sitting in on commentary, Lana that is, helped Naomi win. The match was great, but I was so happy to see Emma, and they broke the news on WWE.com a short while later. So great to see Emma back on the main roster, and I couldn't have been happy that I was there to see her back on WWE TV, so that was pretty cool. After that, we had Ryback versus Sin Cara over in like a minute or two. They liked Sin Cara. Ryback picked up the victory, pretty dominant. And then in the main event, we had Big Show and Kane making a rare appearance on main event to take on the Social Outcasts, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Decent match. The crowd liked Big Show and Kane a lot more than I thought they would. But maybe because it was SmackDown, it's not like the hardcore fans. you get a better chance of getting a family-friendly crowd at SmackDown, a lot like a live event, than you would of Raw or a pay-per-view or NXT or whatever. So they like Big Show, Kane, fine match. It was cool to see those guys. I love their social outcasts. So going on to SmackDown, kicking off the show, Charlotte and Sasha Banks. So I'll pull up the preview here on my phone of the match card for Thursday. I don't know if I remember all the matches off the top of my head. But yeah, Charlotte and Sasha Banks kicked off the show. Sasha got a really big pop, of course. She's from Boston. Great to see her. Really good match with Charlotte. She picked up the victory. Sasha Banks did via a roll-up. Great to see Becky, too. Although she wasn't in action, she sat in on commentary, so great to see the last kicker. I know RJ really wanted to see her, so it was really cool to see the last kicker in Boston. Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus. The match was all right for what it was. If anything, always awesome to see the New Day. The only video I took of the night, and it's probably going to be here on YouTube by tomorrow or Sunday or whatever, was of the New Day making their entrance, or at least right after it says, "It's a new day." Yes, it is. And like they come out for like 20 seconds before they started talking. I got a video of that because I have so many pictures and videos and shit on my phone. I had zero space by the end of the night. I'm so glad. I was so lucky I ran out of space when I did right before like the dark match segment, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get pictures of everything else that I saw. But that was a good match. Sheamus picked up the victory. After that, the Usos versus the Ascension. Pretty basic match. Usos won in a minute or two. Dudley Boys did not come out afterwards, but we saw them a little later. And then the Usos put the Ascension through a table, which the crowd popped for. They all stood up for us. That was a really cool spot. Ziggler and Sami Zayn, my first ever experience seeing Sami Zayn in person, was awesome. Scream, "Let's go," along with his theme song. That was great. Great seeing Sami Zayn for the first time ever live and in living color against Kevin Owens and The Miz, another two of my favorites. I love those guys. Kevin Owens is a fucking riot walking out on The Miz. Crowd loved him too. Miz played his part well. Zack Ryder, Stardust, and Sin Cara came out, and all hell broke loose after the matchup. Zack Ryder, of all people, was the last person standing, delivering a Rough Rider to Kevin Owens, which was interesting. So Zack Ryder had a big Tuesday night this past Tuesday night. Had a great night on Tuesday night. So after that, Roman Reigns versus Bubba Ray Dudley. Roman Reigns got a better reaction than I thought he would. And again, probably because it's more family-friendly, and it's SmackDown, it's not a Raw or a pay-per-view, because at TLC a couple of months ago, and don't say it's like the times, oh, he's getting cheered more now or getting booed more now, whatever. He got cheered, when he won the championship the next night on Raw after TLC, but we were at TLC, and he got booed out of the building on that show, so, and he was pretty beloved on this show. I mean, there were a section of boos, but other than that, he was pretty much universally loved by Boston at SmackDown on Tuesday. And that's, so if you hear that, if you watch SmackDown on Thursday, heard cheers, those weren't piped in. Those were legitimate. So those were 100% legitimate cheers. Pretty basic match. The match was over in like a minute or two. Roman Reigns got disqualified after bashing Bubba's head into the commentator desk. But nice hard-hitting matchup. Roman Reigns laid out both the Dudley Boys to end the segment, so acting a bit more aggressive, which is great. AJ Styles versus Tyler Breeze. The match was it was a fun match while it lasted. If people are asking, oh, was it a show stealer? I mean, it only went like a minute or two. A pretty basic squash match for AJ Styles. I was hoping to see Y2J Chris Jericho. No such luck, but always great to see AJ Styles. My first ever time seeing AJ in WWE. Of course, I got the chance to meet him back in late 2014, so this is not my first time seeing him live, but my first time seeing him at a WWE show. And the whole entrance, and it was awesome. And then the main event, not really a main event match, but the ending segment with Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman. Boston came unglued, obviously, for the Beast Incarnate. Great to see the Beast in Boston, as always. We saw him in Boston when we went to Raw back in October, so I've gotten to see Brock Lesnar 3 times in person over the last year, which is just incredible to me when I love that so much. I'm so fortunate, but anyway. Great segment. I mean, he just pretty much called out Dean Ambrose. Out comes the Wyatt family, which was cool. Completely destroyed Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and Eric Rowan. I almost said Eric Young. I wish. Eric Rowan. Luke Harper was not there. Of course, he's still hurt after getting injured on Monday, which sucks. But he laid out the Wyatt family. Out comes Dean Ambrose. He lays out the Wyatt family as well. Hits Brock Lesnar with a Singapore cane, but Brock Lesnar gets the last laugh by taking out Dean Ambrose with a Singapore cane and delivering an emphatic F5 to end the night. And Dean Ambrose spoke after the match, kind of played up the crowd, said, we always love coming to Boston, blah, blah, blah. He laid out Braun Strowman and again, I almost said Eric Young. He's been on my mind since he left TNA last week. That's why he's still fresh in my mind. But he laid out Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman with dirty deeds. and knocked him out of the ring and said, "We love coming to Boston." End of the night, and he said also bring back the Cruiserweight Championship because he's tired of fighting within the heavyweight division. So that was interesting. But love the Lunatic Fringe. Great night in Boston. That's a short and long of the my experience at SmackDown on Tuesday. Really fun time as always. Thanks to RJ for joining me for a great night of in-ring action. A lot of fun for main event, the dark matches, the dark segments, and SmackDown itself. Successful night. Like I said, my first SmackDown in almost 7 years, and definitely worth it. If you ever get the chance to go to SmackDown, I would recommend it. It's the hot ticket right now. I don't know how much momentum the show is going to have, a couple months down the line by the time they come to your area. But with WrestleMania right around the corner, they delivered the goods on Tuesday, and hopefully you thought the same when you watched the show back on Thursday. So anyway, guys, that is my experience at SmackDown from this past week. We only have one more video blog to go until WrestleMania, so next week we'll probably be talking about Sting. I was going to talk about my experience meeting Sting. Unfortunately, I can't do that because I did not have the chance to meet Sting. Because when I went to that show, Big Time Wrestling, last Saturday, and I got there late, so I couldn't meet him. But I might talk about Sting anyway because of his rumored retirement, going to the Hall of Fame. If not that, definitely something WrestleMania themed. So I look forward to filming that video blog and sharing it with you guys next Friday. But in the meantime and in between time, you guys can like, comment, share, and subscribe. All support is greatly appreciated. Check me out on Twitter. Follow me there at WrestleRant, on Facebook at facebook.com/graham.jason.matthews. All the links are down below, along with my website for the full event photos from SmackDown on Tuesday. And the new video should be coming up that I took at SmackDown over the weekend here on the YouTube channel. But nextairwrestling.net for all the photos I took on Tuesday night. And I think the next show we're going to, if we don't, I'm going to try to go to a Big Time Wrestling show in April just to meet Sting because I'm desperate at this point. But if not that, we'll be at NXT Lowell in mid-April, about a month from now. So I look forward to talking about that here in the video blog in about a month. But in the meantime and in between time, guys, enjoy the rest of the road to WrestleMania. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.